Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful poem called Wind. It was written by the great Tamil poet Subramania Bharati, and we get to explore it thanks to a brilliant translation by A.K. Ramanujan. And trust me, you'll see it's about so much more than just the weather.
Think about that for a second. It's a wild idea, isn't it? That some force that seems dead set on breaking you could actually turn into your biggest source of strength. Well, that exact question is right at the very heart of the poem we're about to unpack.
So the poem takes one of nature's most powerful, most uncontrollable forces, the wind, to explore this whole idea. And it kicks things off not with a big fight, but with a surprisingly gentle request.
All right, so in this first part, we meet the wind as this raw, destructive power. The person speaking in the poem actually tries to reason with it, but as we're about to see, the wind is not really in a listening mood.
The poem opens with this simple, almost delicate plea, "Wind, come softly." It's like a whisper, as if someone is trying to tame this wild thing with just quiet words. But yeah, the wind has other plans.
So instead of coming softly, the wind just unleashes total chaos. That quiet request, completely ignored. This isn't just a breeze, it's like an invasion. It's ripping through the house, scattering papers, knocking books off shelves. The very symbols of order and thought. You can just hear the tone shift, right? It goes from that gentle plea straight to pure frustration. And it doesn't feel like an accident. The poem is personifying the wind here, making it sound almost like a mischievous kid who just loves to break things. But this is where it gets really interesting. The poem reveals that the wind's destruction isn't random at all. There's actually a pretty chilling method to its madness. This line right here, this is the key. This is what unlocks the wind's true character. It's not just some chaotic force. It's a bully. It actually enjoys targeting and mocking anything that's vulnerable. And man, the poem just hammers this point home by repeating one word over and over, crumbling. The wind goes after weakness wherever it finds it, in houses, in our bodies, in our lives, and yeah, even in our hearts. It's this force that just seeks out anything fragile and puts it on full display. The poem uses this incredible metaphor here. The wind god is winnowing. Now that's a farming term. It's when you use wind to separate the worthless chaff from the valuable grain. And that's exactly what the wind does here. It separates the weak from the strong, and it just crushes anything that can't stand up to it.
Okay, but right here, everything changes. The poem takes this dramatic turn. The speaker stops complaining to the wind and starts figuring out a strategy against it. This is the moment we go from victim to hero.
And this leads to the poem's biggest breakthrough. You just can't reason with the wind. You can't ask it to be nice. It is what it is. The only thing you can actually change is yourself. So the speaker lays out this super clear, actionable plan. And notice how it's not just about physical stuff. It starts with building strong homes, sure, but then it moves inward to a firm body and finally to the most important foundation of all, a steadfast heart. It's all about building strength from the outside in. So what happens when you do all this? When you build up strength in every part of your life? Well, the entire dynamic shifts. The relationship you have with this destructive force is completely transformed. The poem gives us the perfect image for this. The exact same wind that snuffs out a weak little fire is what makes a strong fire roar and grow even bigger. See? The external force doesn't change at all. Its effect changes, and it's based entirely on your own internal strength. And here it is, the poem's incredible final reversal. By becoming strong, the wind isn't your enemy anymore. It becomes your friend. The very thing that once tried to tear you down is now what builds you up. You don't just tolerate it, you praise it, because you finally understand that it helps you grow. Okay, so let's pull back the curtain and get to the real heart of it. Because after all that, I'm sure you've guessed, Bharati wasn't just writing a poem about a windy day. The wind is a symbol. It stands for all the challenges, all the hardships, all the adversity that life throws at us. The things that seem designed to break us, the forces that we just can't control. So what's the ultimate message here? This poem is a timeless guide to resilience. It's not telling us to ask for an easier life. It's telling us to focus on becoming stronger, physically, mentally, and emotionally, because that is how you turn adversity into your greatest ally. And that leaves us with one final thing to think about. We all face our own kinds of wins, challenges at work, in our families, inside ourselves. So the real question the poem asks each of us is this: what wind are you making yourself strong for?